Next we're going to do a small window box. Window box has drainage holes at the bottom, and we put a few crocks in there from a broken pot to make sure that the drainage holes don't get blocked up. It's the same compost as for the hanging basket. Here I've already added the slow release fertilizer and the water retaining gel. Fill that straight away. Now this window box is going to be in a different location. This is going to be on a south facing windowsill, and I have chosen different plants for that reason. This is going to be my center plant. It's called a Scopia, and it's slightly trailing. It'll nicely fill out the center. When you do buy plants like that, always check the quality of the plants as well. So what you're checking for, is there any disease? But this plant looks good and healthy. The root system is well developed, and yet it's not pot bound. You can see it's starting to get that way a little bit. If it's more pot bound than this, with the roots going round, you can tease them out a little bit more, but it's not very much of a problem with this one here. So I'm quite happy with the quality of this one. Again, like with the hanging baskets, you make sure that you plant the top of the compost will be just below the edge of the window box. As a dot plant, kind of in between, we're going to use the Petunia. You can see these are starting to get a little bit pot bound. The roots are getting a little bit entangled, so we can loosen that, but the quality otherwise is very good as well. There's some nice flowers on it. If there's a few leaves that are not quite as good looking, you can take them off now. And we can really pack this in. There's one here, I'll show you this one, that has a spent flower on it. So that flower is finished. What you want to do with that, go right down to the stem, and you can just snip it out with your fingers. They're very delicate plants, they break quite easily as well, but the deadheading is all the easier for it. So there's a fresh new flower coming there as well. I'll put that one there. Do the same on this side. Good quality all around. Just be careful when you do take them out, just squeeze the bottom of the container a little bit until they come out easily. Okay, and while this already seems quite full, we can still squeeze in a few more plants, and this time we're using a Lobelia again, but it's a more upright type, so this is not going to be as trailing. And as before, it was self-sown in the tunnel. They haven't quite rooted through, but they've been in the container for a few days. Maybe a little bit more compost underneath, because this hasn't got a root ball as such. They're going to produce lovely small either white, pink or purple flowers. Not quite sure, seeing that they have sown themselves. This one has a bit more of a root ball, so I might put that at the back. And still we keep going. And it's a bit of a prop. And one more. So the colour will be a bit of a surprise, but that's nice too. A very little root ball. Oh, it's the back we're going. A little bit more. And just like with the hanging basket earlier, you just got to make sure that you don't leave any roots exposed. And that's the time to kind of push things in and keep adding compost. Can take a bit of time, but it's worth taking that time. It's important for the nutrient and water uptake of the plant. It's well firmed in. And that should give colour really, as I said, on the south facing windowsill all summer long. In terms of care, watering and feeding, obviously, like I said, feeding about once a week or every 2 weeks at least with a liquid fertilizer, like a tomato feed. Liquid tomato feed is perfectly okay to use. And deadheading is another important thing. Just like I took that little faded bloom from the petunia out there earlier, every few days check your flowers, because otherwise those flowers will start setting seed, and that gives the signal to the plant that they've done their job. They don't have to produce any more flowers, and that'll shorten the display. If you keep deadheading and taking those dead flowers out, you get a much longer display. Now that looks good to me. The lobelia is a bit lost at the moment, but once it grows and starts flowering, it'll add to the display as well. Nicely fit into the colour scheme, so good watering of this as well. And likewise, there are tender plants, they need a bit of protection yet until the end of May, and then they can go outside once they're hardened off.